In this video, I want to talk about 5 mistakes projectors make. And when I go through each one, you can, do the opposite, or you can, be aware of these things, because this is where a lot of projectors fall down in their process of ultimately living their true self. So number 1 is having no morning routine. Now, the reason for this is when you wake up in the morning, you're coming from more of that energetic space, and you want to anchor your energy. You want to center your energy. You want to build some momentum into the day. That's emotional momentum. That's physical momentum. It could be with your breath. It could be with your mind and your thoughts. But if you don't anchor in something, we have such an open energetic field that life's going to come in. This person's going to say they want this person's going to message you here, you don't have to do this with the kids or the job or the partner. And your energy, because you absorb so much and you penetrate, it's like you're just going to be spraying everywhere. You're just going to be all over the place. It doesn't have to be long. It can be 5 minutes, it can be 10 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, But if you can do something for your mind, if you can sit down for 5 minutes in silence and just allow the mind to sort of purge, process, let out some things, come back to the breath. And then could you do 1 minute of positive affirmations or a couple of minutes of powerful breathing? And then you could do 5 minutes of stretches or strengthening your core. You do 25 sit-ups, you do a 1 minute plank, whatever it is. Can you anchor your morning routine? Because it's not just about the morning, it's not just about a routine, it's about a true energetic anchor that will ripple out and will build resilience for you throughout the day, no matter what flows through your awareness. So that's the first mistake, is projectors just sort of getting up, maybe onto their phones, maybe in a conversation, whatever it is. That's a mistake. The second mistake is trying to keep up with everyone. We don't have a sacral center. So most likely, in areas of work or socially, if you're trying to keep up with people, that's not going to work. That's going to be a mistake, because 70% of the world have a lot of physical resilience to do that job, to do the work, to go, and then to go out after, and then to go out after that, and then to come onto another phone call, and then to go to bed, and then, wake up, boom, on the phone again. And so if you're trying to keep up with other people, you're trying to keep up with probably the majority of the people, and that's not who you are. That's a mistake. So it's about, maybe having some exhales, maybe going, okay, how can I do my job a little different? I was working one-on-one with someone, this is many years ago, maybe 7 years ago, projector. And he was burnt out, he was getting sick, he was working in a successful financial business in Sydney, Australia. And I said to him, how about you go down to 4 days? And what's your passion? Because he somewhat enjoyed it, but it was more financial, more money. So it's like, my passion. And at that stage, his passion was yoga. Only in the last sort of 6 months, he was getting into yoga. And I was like, why not ask your boss if you can go from 5 days to 4? And then you could spend that Friday on your passion, whether you're doing it yourself or you're learning about how to teach it or whatever. Initially, he was like, I don't know if I can do that, And it was probably, we had a couple of sessions, and then it was probably a week, after maybe 2 sessions or 3 sessions, and he messages me, you're not going to believe it, all seemed to work out really well. And then we had a couple more sessions, and what ended up happening is he asked, his boss said yes, he went down to 4 days. About 5 days after, he got a raise to make more money than what he was making on 5 days. And then we had a couple more sessions, and he messages me, I'm in Bali at a yoga training, and he started to become a yoga teacher and still work the job. And it's like the amount of fulfillment he was feeling during that process, because he started to live in alignment and he started to respect his energy, and life met him in that. So that's one thing that's, we don't want to just keep up with people. There will be bitterness, there will be health challenges, these type of things. So that is mistake number 2, trying to keep up with everyone. Mistake number 3 is initiating. So the last one was more of the, number 2 was more generating, trying to keep up energetically. Number 3 mistake is more manifesting, and we come from a world that's been led by manifestors and built by generators. So the third problem is if we initiate like manifestors. So, if I just want to be more successful, I'm going to go out and I'm going to, knock on people's door. I'm going to call people and say, do you have an opportunity to do this? And we're going out here and we're spending all our time trying to physically change things, when we want to change things in here. We want to change things in here. Don't initiate physically out there. Yes, you can at times, metaphorically throw something at the wall and see if it sticks, once or twice, I asked that person if they have an opportunity or something. And if there's just not much response, it's like it didn't stick. Maybe it'll stick, and then maybe they'll invite you. But you have to be spending some time inside, rewiring your thoughts, seeing the world with opportunity, seeing the world with abundance, seeing the world with love and peace. Like seeing these things, you have to start seeing them and they'll start showing up. If you're just bitter, resistant, and you're trying to go out there, you're just going to hit a wall every time as a projector. So that's number 3. Initiating doesn't work well most of the time as a projector. Number 4 mistake as a projector is overthinking. Like Sarah at times talks about, like the Pez dispenser, all this energy up here, that doesn't work for us. We want to understand everything. We want to research everything. But if we're not taking that inside and doing equal amounts of time in presence with our breath, with our thoughts, with our emotions, and choosing differently, choosing harmony over anger, choosing harmony over chaos. And if we can't, because our inner world is chaos, well then we can go to another room. We can process that through. We can ask for a day off work. We can move that energy within ourselves. It's like cleaning the lens of the projector screen. So just be aware of having moments throughout the day of presence, of pause, of meditation. And yes, we can meditate and we can slow down and pause and all these things, which helps us relax and come into some regulation. But if we're not going deeper and actually tracking the foundation within our psyche, within our thoughts, within the patterns that show up of rejection, of shutdown, of control of these things, and if we're not able to get underneath them and choose differently, those patterns are just going to keep going. And they're just going to keep going, and we're just like trying to calm down, and they go again, calm down. We need to fundamentally shift some of these things, and that's deep inner work. And that leads me to the 5th mistake is, as a projector, is not really prioritizing our inner worlds. Still being, this sort of wraps up into all of them, but still being out there. It's like could look like a needy energy. It could look like a controlling energy. It could look like a pushing energy. It could look like a taking over the environment energy. Just like trying really hard out there. Come back here, do some inner introspection. Know that peace, love, joy is within you. So you don't need to go out there and be a hamster on a wheel trying to extract something out there. We need to find some of it within ourselves, and then we can share that, we can offer that. And that's a beautiful way of using our projection as a projector, because we're actually in harmony with the energy that life wants us to be in harmony. And that will support this new world coming into being. So I hope you enjoyed this. And One thing that could support is, it's very affordable, is the Projector Reset. So if you haven't done that, go onto the website, and that will help you shift some of these layers fundamentally and experientially. And it's like 30 minutes a day for 5 days, audio. You can do it while driving or cleaning the house or whatever. And it can start to shift these deeper fundamental layers. So I recommend that if you notice some of these mistakes that you're embodying, it's time to really inwardly transform. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Many blessings.